Welcome to Gravity, the podcast about pulling clients into your real estate business. If you're a real estate agent trying to grow your business, this is the podcast for you. So sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. My name is David, and I own a boutique real estate agency called Housekick. And I'm here with Addie Price, who has her own firm called Price Residential Group. And as a busy realtor, as you would imagine, her phone is always on. So
I thought I had cut it off.
yeah, perfect. No, you're fine. So Addie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit how you got into the real estate business, and a little bit about your Price Residential Group and what's going on with your business these days.
Perfect. Business is booming these days.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yes. You just finished a house for me, right?
Yeah.
I forgot the repair
Down in
one.
Fuquay, that's
Yes.
right.
So business is doing really well. I have owned Price Residential Group now. We've been official 1 year and maybe like 2 months. It was the best decision I could have ever made. Was
That's
to
great.
get out on my own because now I'm evolving, doing a lot of more things differently. But I have actually been in a real estate business for 6 years, and that as with my real estate license, but also I used to work at what is it called? Ceteris at IBM,
Uh-huh.
and I had my mortgage loan origination license. So
Okay.
I was licensed in 9 states. So there, I would say altogether, I probably have about 10 or 11 years of the real estate industry.
So you've got a good real
experience.
estate background. You've worked in a few different verticals, so you probably have a good understanding of the mechanics of the whole process from start to finish. Yes.
Yes, and that's why I draw in all my customers because I'm like, oh, I'm really knowledgeable about the situation. When they have issues with their loan officer, if they can't get to their loan officer, then they give me a call. So I'm kind of like the therapist, the real estate agent, the lender, all in one.
So my mom was a real estate agent back in 2005. The first time I had an agency, she was my broker in charge, and she has a master's in social work. And she used to tell me all the time, I use my degree more as a real estate agent than I did when I was actually a social worker. So I can certainly relate to that statement.
Yeah, because everybody's always calling. It's like, oh, I'm having this problem, or you might be their friend one day they might be mad with you, but you're always going to be a phone call away. They're always wanting something, but it's okay. I love what I do, so
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
great.
mind.
And so, did you work at another firm before you ventured out on your own? I'm assuming
hmm
so.
I worked with another firm for 5 years,
Hmm.
and then one day I just decided, like, hey, I had a lot of deals that was going sour, and I was like, maybe God's just trying to tell me something. So when that was going on, I was like, oh, I left my full-time job, and now that I left that full-time job, this is my main source of income. I
Right.
can't keep having all these deals fall apart. I got to think business-wise. So I thought, like, okay, if my deals fall apart, because in real estate, they do sometimes fall
Yeah.
apart. So I
Uh-huh.
said, when mine's fall apart, if I have a team, then I'm going to still make money off that team. So I was like, hey, let's switch this thing around and get a team. And I have a team of now 7 girls, 7 of us all together.
Yep.
And everyone has contracts. I think right now, currently, we have 24
Wow.
under contract
That's
as a
wonderful.
firm. So it's really good. And everybody's still working with buyers and sellers. So it's really good.
Yeah, so that's great. So, do you spend most of your time now as a functioning, practicing real estate agent, or are you kind of in the business of bringing in new agents to sort of build the business?
I don't want any more agents.
Oh, you're
My
done. Okay, you
phone
got
is,
all you can
yeah,
eat.
I want to be that boutique
Yeah,
firm.
yeah.
So a lot of people have been calling me to get when they see the marketing and stuff that we do
Uh-huh.
online. We don't pay for marketing, but when they see our posts on social media, different
Gotcha.
things in that nature, a lot of people have called me and say, hey, I want to come work with you.
That's great.
And I'm really investing back into my girls. Like, I have company photos, I have E&O insurance, everything that you need as a real estate firm.
Hmm.
Even though I'm small, I have dot loop. I pay for, I don't know how to turn this phone off. I'm
Don't
sorry.
you worry
Look,
about it.
look.
We all expect it to keep going. That's why
Right.
this is how you know you have a successful agent sitting with you, because their phone doesn't stop going.
Yes. So, by me and doing all those little things that I'm investing in, I don't want just a large amount of people that, hey, I just have this large volume of people
Right.
and I'm just expecting to make money. Anybody that's around me, I like to see them grow and do great things. So I feel like if I keep it small, I can continue to feed them leads and do different
Okay.
things to
So are
help them
you
get to the next
are you
level.
also working with them individually to like help them grow their business within your business? Are they
Yes.
allowed to hire agents underneath them and have like little teams under them, or are you trying
Not
to?
right now, they're
Is
not.
that something you're trying to stay away from?
Well, not right now, they're not. No one is able to actually have their own little team,
Hmm.
but that's the goal. I tell all of them, you should not want to be just a real estate agent
So at
for
some
a
point in
while.
the
You want
future, you would allow someone to do that if they had enough business to support it and
correct.
they
If they
were
have
trying to
enough
grow.
business, they can actually get their own team up under mines, and
That's
then,
great.
or if they want to just broker off and just go do their own thing, I'm okay with them just leaving, saying, "Hey, I'm ready to go to the
Cool.
next level." I'm okay with that because I'm all about growth.
And then you could bring someone else in
Someone
and
else to
start
replace
over
them.
again. So that's really cool. Is there was that sort of what you had in mind when you started, or did that sort of evolve as you got going and started building relationships with the people in the office?
Mostly everybody that's on my team, I knew them.
Okay.
So is some of them have been my friends for years. Some of them we worked with prior before.
Hmm.
Two of them I sold houses to before,
Oh, really?
and we
That's
became
funny.
friends. Yeah.
Great.
So it's like everybody that's on my team, we already had like a foundation before. It's not just someone that came to me and said, "Hey, I want to work with you." So it's more like a family type feel.
Sure.
And I want to keep it that way. And just also because I'm super busy, I have multiple businesses with them. If I'm busy, they understand it. And so if I had someone else that didn't really know what I do on a
Sure.
daily basis, I feel like it could cause some type of issues.
Yeah.
But with them, if they could be round around with me and I say, "Hey, I need to go do this or go do that," they're okay with that because they know that's my lifestyle.
Well,
So
great.
I want to keep it that way.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I've heard you talk little bit about marketing, even though you said before we started the show you
Hmm.
don't do any marketing. But of course, we
Right.
know that's not true because you have business. You
Yes.
might not be spending money on marketing,
Hmm.
but without a doubt, you're doing marketing. So you're getting leads. You got a pipeline of leads coming in. You said you were sharing some of those leads
Hmm.
with your agents. Where does your business come from now? What's your main source of lead
Referrals,
generation?
word of mouth referrals. So what will happen is that when I send them leads, it's normally on our website.
Hmm.
If you click on the website, like we'll do a post, and under that post, I'll have my web address up there.
Okay.
Once you click on the web address, it's going to ask you for your contact information. So when they ask for that contact information, I then send it over to some of the girls on the team.
And so you said you referenced a post. Would that be a Facebook post, an Instagram
Facebook and
post, all of the
Instagram.
above? Are there any other
Just
place?
Facebook and
Those
Instagram.
two
I
are the main
have
ones.
LinkedIn, but I never use it. One of the girls on my team, Angela, she loves LinkedIn, and she
Yeah.
keeps telling me LinkedIn, LinkedIn, LinkedIn.
Are you
But
getting business? Is she getting
she
business
gets
from
business
LinkedIn?
from it, and I just haven't
Haven't had the
taken the
time.
time to do it. But I need to do it because I do know it's a great deal of people there. But for me, it's just basically Instagram, Facebook. I'll kind of post the same thing up
Hmm.
there. Like if we have a closing, had a closing today. I haven't posted them yet because I've been too busy closing home inspection and
Right,
everything
right.
else. I was late to you. So
So are you posting on your personal page or on the business page?
personal, and the business page now that I have, it actually links when I post on Instagram. I have it kind of like where it
Hmm.
automatically posts to the business page, but I don't really get a lot of feed from the business page. I get more stuff from the personal Facebook
More from the
page.
personal.
So I try to post more on the personal page
Is
versus the
that
business.
easier too? Because you're just in your regular Facebook on your
Hmm.
phone, and do you just snap a photo and say, "Hey, I'm at a
Yep.
home inspection now," or do you like go back to the office and at nighttime put a pretty picture in there and try to make it look
Nope, I
really
don't
cool?
build any content. I need to do it, but I don't. I do know if you do build that content the way
Hmm.
social media is now, it would be a lot better if you have it planned out. I just don't plan it out,
Yeah,
and that's just being lazy.
sure.
So, I just like just now when I was at the home inspection, I did a quick video. Hey, home inspection.
Right, 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 right.
Just do a quick video. I
Which is
took a
great. I mean,
picture.
that's good organic content as it's going through someone's feed,
Hmm.
especially your sphere of influence, who are your friends on Facebook. They're seeing your face. They know Addie.
Right.
Hey, what's Addie up to today? They may stop. So
Hmm.
and that can definitely work if you're getting a lot of referrals and you're putting a link to your website there and driving people back to your website where they can fill out
Hmm.
a contact form. That's all really good stuff. So I could
Yes.
see how that would be effective. Obviously, there's more that could be done. Well, I
Exactly.
can
Way
I can
more.
tell you a little bit more
Look,
about that.
I want to know
But
more because I
yeah,
know
yeah,
to
yeah,
get to the next level, I know I need to implement more stuff.
yeah.
So right now it's just like, the basic things that we're doing and it's keeping us afloat. But of course, everybody's objective is to grow
Of
more.
course.
So in order to grow more, we know you need to spend money on marketing, you need to get content, you need
Yep.
to have those Google ads going, you need to do things to gonna draw you out there a little
Sure.
more.
And it's super interesting to talk to you because obviously you're busy. You have multiple businesses.
Hmm.
You and I have done deals before, and I know
Yep.
that you're an excellent agent, and
Well, thank
you've
you.
got
I
a lot
try
of
to
stuff
be.
going on. Of course, that's why you get to be the first guest on our
Yay!
show. So that's awesome. Um, but it's interesting to hear because obviously I think I asked you a question earlier and I was sort of curious,
Mhm.
whether or not you were spending more time working with clients that you have that you
Mhm.
keep because the commissions probably are what drives your income,
Right.
or if you were focusing more on the business, and then you have multiple businesses, so you have multiple
Mhm.
things to do in that regard. So I was sort of wondering how much time and energy even would you have left in the day to do marketing if you decided you
None.
really wanted to focus on it.
Really none. But
Yeah.
I like to, and that's the thing with me. I don't mind paying people to do things for me. I'm all about having my time.
Hmm.
So if I'm so busy during the day, I will, like, I have a marketing girl for my boutique that I own. I have someone, she does all the marketing for that because it's like it's easier for me to just pass it off.
Yeah.
So if I had someone that I could say, "Hey, let me take a nice photo, you come up with the
Hmm.
content, you do this, you do that." I am all for giving that
That
away.
would be a lot
I rather work
easier, probably.
smarter
Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
harder.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So, in terms of your sphere of influence and your client base now, do
Mhm.
you have sort of a brand positioning or a certain type of client that is your focus, for your business?
Mostly we do first time home buyers. And it's just for me that I love, some people don't like to work with first time home buyers because it is a lot more work. Sometimes people come with you, they don't have enough money saved, they don't have
Yeah,
the credit they need, different things in that nature.
often
S-
lower price points too.
Right, lower price points. And so, but right now, the way the economy is, that lower price point is amazing because everybody's scared
Yeah.
of what's going on with the pandemic, the election, different things in that nature. So it's now that higher price point is staying on the market a little longer versus those lower price points. I had a
Yeah.
listing last week. We had like 12 offers in less than 2 days. So if you can get those, it's like, hey, quick
Yeah, they
money.
just move
So
quick.
it's, yeah,
Need
they're
not
moving
a
really
ton of work. Yeah,
quickly. So I
we
do
listed
a
a
lot of first time.
townhouse like in that $200,000 price
Hmm.
range, and it sold in 2 days. Then the
Yes.
buyer fell through because a house that they liked better came back on the
Hmm.
market. So we had to put the house back on the market again. It was really a nerve wracking situation
Right.
because she was already under contract to buy another house.
Ooh.
And so we were like kind of freaking out. But before we said, don't freak out. We got this. Put the house back on the market. It sold again in the next day. And it
Exactly.
was like no big deal.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, and I'm sure you're bumping into this some too, we ended up, the bad part of that transaction is it sold so fast for over asking price.
Hmm.
Appraisal didn't come back high enough. And then she ended up taking a hit on even what we could have gotten on that house. You seeing that
Yep.
a lot too?
Yes. And so that's the thing. Actually, one of my girls today, she's putting an offer on a house, and I said, "Hey, that house is not gonna appraise, but they have multiple offers." I said, "So you need to prepare your client because this happened to
Yeah.
me last week. I'm on the seller side though, so it's good for me.
Right.
But it was only good for one reason because I had already told my client up front when I listed the house, I listed at 209.99. I said the house
This is
is
the same
she
price we were at. Yeah. Exact same price.
look, and I told her, I said, she wanted to list at 225. I said, it's not going to price for that. We're not even going to go that way. Let's
Hmm.
list it here. So we listed at 2099, but we had multiple offers come in. House didn't appraise. So they had offered 216 on the house.
Hmm.
So my client was like, "Hey, but we have multiple offers. I don't want, these other clients seem like they have money. I'm not going to lower the price that much." So I had to play hard bargain with them and like say, "No, we're going to put this house back on the market." But my
Yeah.
client had already told me like, "Hey, if they don't budge, I'm under contract on
Yeah.
another
Right.
house. I'm going to have to go ahead and drop the
They don't know
price."
that, so
They
you
don't
got to
know
try to
that.
play the game.
Right. So I'm just playing the game. So I let it roll for 2 days. They came back. They said, "Hey, we'll give you 214." So they're still paying 4,000 over
Right,
asking
right, right.
price. But we were gonna budge if they hadn't came back so fast and
It's hard to
said,
know when
but
you get a client who's going to budge or not going to
exactly.
budge, and that's the
And I
the
have
stress
had
of
one
it.
where the lady didn't want to budge, and so it went back on the market. So it all depends on your client, but it's happening a lot.
So I'm glad we're talking about that because I wanted to talk mainly about marketing of your business,
Hmm.
and we'll come back to that for sure. But in terms of marketing the houses, like, would you have a particular approach for that? Do you When you go to meet a listing client, do you
Hmm.
say, "Hey, this is what we're going to do to market your house"? Are you
Yep.
using social media for that? So dig into that a little bit.
So what I do is I kind of do the same thing all across the board. I always tell people I want to list on Thursday. The goal is to have the house sold by Sunday.
Sounds
Look.
right. I like that.
Yeah. So
Thursday's a magic day. I'm always
yeah.
mad if my photographer can't get the pictures back on
Right.
Thursday. I'm like, no, dude, you got to get it
You gotta
Thursday.
have them here Thursday. I love
Got
that
to hit that
Thursday
weekend
thing.
traffic.
Yeah. So last week I actually paid extra because I had another listing, that house that I just left. I
Uh-huh.
had that they were in order to buy that house, they had to sell their house, and everything happened so quick. So the photographer or anything wasn't ready, so I had to pay extra for Matt and them to come out and do the photos and get them to me. I said, hey, I need these by Wednesday. This house has to go
Mhm.
live on Thursday, but I called them on Tuesday saying I needed photos by Wednesday. But they made it happen for me.
They got
They
it
worked
done.
me in, and I was like, thank you, Matt. And
Gotta
then
love that
it
repeat
didn't.
buyer power.
Yes, and then it sold. Same thing first week. So I don't go in there with like this big old package. How some people come in and say, hey, we're going to do this, this, this.
Yeah.
I kind of walk the house, see what's going on with the house. As agents, we kind of know what people are looking for anyway.
Right.
So, and then sometimes I feel like if you go in there with all that big old marketing package, you want them to sign documents right up front, you're kind of scaring them away a little bit.
Yeah.
So I like to just go in kind of chill and
Mhm.
figure out their vibe, my vibe, and then I just tell them, hey, we're going to have professional photos. We're going to have professional measurements. We walk through the house. If they need some things taken out, I tell them what to remove. If they need house cleaning, I recommend people to come in and do different things for them. But it's not like my strategy is this: list on Thursday. We're not going to list too high. I don't
Mhm.
like to list too high because I tell them if you list too high, you're not going to get multiple offers. So if we can get multiple offers, then you'll drive the price up
Right.
anyway. So I like, let's
And
not be
it'll
the
go
highs in the neighbor,
faster.
and it
Right.
go faster. And
Yep.
I like to Thursday, Sunday, I like to be gone.
That's
On to the
perfect.
next.
Yeah,
So
on to the next. I like that. I
yes.
like that. So I took a look at your website,
Hmm.
and you had some cool stuff on there. So one of the things I want to ask you have a blog. And I
Yes.
notice you are routinely blogging every two
You know
weeks.
that's not
You
me.
are a busy person. So are you? Do you have a writer? Are you subbing that out to
Yes.
somebody? How's that work?
So that's a company called Dacno.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using them. I actually paid for that website maybe about 4 or 5 years ago when I was with the other firm.
Do you pay like a monthly thing,
Monthly
or do
fee.
you?
So
So
I
do you
pay
own the
them.
site, or they like if you quit them,
If I quit,
the
I
site's
still own the
gone,
site,
or
but
you
I
still
won't
keep the
get
site?
those blogs. So
I
that's the only
gotcha.
thing. So I get 2 blogs a month. And before I was paying them a higher price. When I first started the firm,
Mm-hmm.
I went to paying them like $4.49 a month. But when the pandemic hit, I said, hey, let's cut some costs. So I ended up just going back to the $149, which still gives me 2 free blogs a month.
Cool.
And it gives me, and they can just, it's really 2 free blogs in the CRM that's built in behind the scenes.
Does anyone ever tell you, "Oh, I read your blog; it was really good this week"? Or, I mean, do you get
Yeah,
some
they
traction
do.
with that?
Uh-huh. So
Really cool.
sometimes, and then they were actually sending out newsletters for me, and those newsletters I
Like
was getting
email
yeah,
newsletters or paper news?
email
Okay, email.
newsletters. And when they were sending out those, she said that my firm had one of the highest out
Open
of
rates.
open rates.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so um actually I just won. They were giving like a grant out to a certain
Uh huh.
amount of people. So I just won a grant where they are now, instead of just having me as that website, they're gonna build a website for each one of my team
Oh,
members.
cool.
So everybody will have their own team member, and then everybody's now gonna have their own CRM system that's
Mm-hmm.
built in behind that. But she said they picked me because I've been with them for so many years,
Mm-hmm.
and that I was investing in the firm, because for about a year, I say maybe like 8 months, I was paying the $4.49 a month to get those 2 blogs and to also get the email marketing, but I stopped. But now they're gonna give us that back.
So you're gonna go back to the email marketing, trying to
They'll
work it
give us
in.
the
How
email
many
marketing.
emails do you have in your database? Do you know?
Not many. So maybe like 900 or something. It's not
900.
many.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Hmm.
Do you focus or concentrate at all on trying to get people's email so you can build that list up a little bit,
I
or no?
need to. I don't, but I
Yeah.
need to. And that was one of the things that everybody's saying. You have to have that email list. And so now I'm going to have this
The
cool
email
little
list is
app.
good if you're doing something with it, but obviously
Yes.
if you're not doing anything with it, then it's just
All
a
right. And
list.
so to me, I'm like, I'm never up there. So,
Yeah,
so to me,
yeah.
it's like, it's just a list. So, but I feel like the website does make you look good.
Yep.
So it's a lot of information on my website.
I like the videos. I saw the videos. They're
Yes.
informational,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. I think when you can deliver some value to people,
Right.
that's stuff that resonates with them. When you're not always trying to sell, 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 sell,
Mm-hmm.
giving them something is really important to connect them to you, help build trust, and know that you're not just trying to shove a new house down their throat all the
Right.
time. I think that's super important.
And
So
that
I
makes
did see the
people come
videos.
back to you
It
too.
does. Well,
Send
yeah. If they
referrals.
trust and
Mm-hmm.
and helps them refer. I'm told that research that for every 100 people in your network, your
Mm-hmm.
personal network, 17 potential deals in that network if you're properly working
Oh,
the
that's
network.
excellent. We all want a
That
new
is a
deal.
huge number, right? I mean, if you
Yes.
can imagine, you have 900 people, 900
Hmm.
emails. Imagine if you were 9x of 17,
Exactly.
you'd be a busy bee, busier than you already are.
Right.
But nurturing the list of people and the people in your sphere of influence is
Hmm.
part of that process, and providing them value so that they care about whatever it is you're going to say. Because if you think about the people in your list, they're only buying a house every 7 years or so.
Right.
Now they may know someone who's buying a house in
Hmm.
between there, but every 7 years is not exactly repeat customer. Like if you're
Exactly.
in your shop, people might come in to buy a new blouse
Right.
every
Every
other
week.
week. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's repeat buyers. That's what we love. But in real estate, it's a huge
Hmm.
transaction. It takes a long time to get that repeat business. But every 7 years with 100 people, if you do the math, as long as they're coming back to you, those are pretty good numbers. And then they know people who know
Hmm.
people. So, but some of the information or the ways that you connect with them during that period where they just don't care about houses, right? I already have a house. I don't
Exactly.
care. Like it's going to be 6 more years before I even start thinking about
Hmm.
moving. And so you have to find a way to sort of connect with them and provide value during that time. Otherwise, you're not building, you're not really nurturing or building or
Yep.
maintaining the
And I tell
relationship.
my team that too. I said, on holidays and different things, just call your old clients to let them know, hey,
I
I'm
think a
thinking about
personal
you.
touch like that is terrific.
Yes. And
Go
sometimes
have
for
lunch,
Christmas,
whatever.
sometimes like Christmas, I know I always try to send like little gift cards and
Hmm.
different things like that just to say, hey,
Top of mind. Yep.
yeah, because when they'll look at those gifts and say, hey, oh, I talked to Addie. She's a real estate agent. Let's
That's
send
right.
her somebody. So I always tell them, make sure you stay in front of those people because that's like you said, after 7 years, that's when you hear back from them. If
Right.
then they
And
after then they
and
might
and if
forget your
they know somebody
information.
during that 7 years and
Yeah,
and they're having a conversation, you want them to think about you and your
you.
team. So it's super important. We talked about your social media presence a little bit, your Facebook and Instagram. So you're doing zero paid ads on Facebook now, I assume.
Yep, zero.
It's a powerful, powerful tool.
Yes.
So we can have another conversation about that
Okay.
later. But I can tell you, um, Facebook is really strong
Mhm.
for getting your message out there. There's different things you can do on Facebook. There's I think 10 different campaign objectives they have in their
Oh
paid media
wow.
strategy. It can be anything from just driving traffic to your website.
Mhm.
They have brand reach where you can just shout out and let everybody know that you're here. They have lead generation tools where you
Mhm.
can put an ad up and just drive people back to you to they'll give you their contact information so you can reach back out to them. They have messenger campaigns where you can engage with somebody like
That's
right
good.
then. If you happen to hit a hot button for them,
Mhm.
we do a lot of marketing for our flooring company. And on the flooring side, we put pictures of our floors up and a place for them to just respond. We get responses all day long. We average about 20 a day
Oh
of people who
wow.
see the floors and say, wow, that's amazing. Get me a quote. How do I get some? I'm
Mhm.
interested in that. And so,
Yeah, so that's the type of things I need from my firm so we can get more leads and more people that we don't know because right now
yeah,
it's going to be more people you know normally because you're getting those referral base. But when
yep.
you start doing things like that and then they see your email, I mean, they see your websites and your
Really
clicks
help
and
you
stuff, it
grow
really
because
helps you get to the next
what
level.
you're doing is you're pulling in your cold audience. Your
Mm-hmm.
referrals is your warm audience,
Right.
and of course they're going to be a little bit further down the funnel. At the top of the funnel, you always want to be
Mm-hmm.
pulling more reach in so that you can work them into the bottom and continue to build and grow your business. So I'd love to talk another time about that. I can tell you a little bit of detail on how you can
Perfect.
boost up the Facebook presence through paid. So we talked about brand positioning, and I kind of mentioned it. I touched on it a little bit, but I like to dig a little bit deeper on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a common thread in your customer base that seems to be like I know you mentioned first time home buyers,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, is that your focus? You want to, if you were doing an ad, say on Facebook, would you say, "Hey, first time home buyer, like I'm the person you need to talk to for first time home buying because I used to be in mortgage and I understand the process and I'll
Right.
take all your fears away and make it, a real easy, painless process for you." Is that a focus like clearly, or is it more?
It's kind of
scattered?
broad. It's not nothing that we really focus on right now. We just make a post sometimes, and because we do deal with a lot of first time home buyers, it may say, "Hey, first time home buyers hashtag" or something
Mhm.
like that. Because if we close a deal and normally they're a first time home buyer, then we put that
So you'll
there.
target a little bit, so through that posting
Through
that you're
that little
doing. Yeah,
hashtag
that makes
stuff,
sense.
but not too much. But our main focus, I've been talking to some of the girls, and we do want to start doing some type of campaigning on basically like new construction because new
Mhm.
construction is taking over now.
Yeah.
So, we were thinking about doing maybe like a seminar, webinar about new construction, and then doing some type of ad that's going to focus on going to new construction because if you just do new construction, you can actually do first time home buyers as well as repeat buyers,
Gotcha.
and then your price points start to go up a little more as well because now with the new construction, minimum that you can find in some areas maybe like 270,
Yeah, I was like in
260.
the 300s
Right, but
mostly,
at least in
and
the
sometimes
300s
higher.
and
Yeah.
higher. So I have taken notice that this year my price point has went up a whole lot
Mhm.
compared to before. But I treat every client the same. So to me, if it's a first time home buyer, a repeat buyer, it's just like it's all the same.
Great.
But um we are gonna start trying to do some new construction targeting
That
and
makes sense.
VA, and we do love VA loans too because they're
Mhm.
really good loans. So we try to do veterans as well.
Yeah, I just sold a house this morning, as a matter of fact, with a
Hmm.
VA loan, or I got the offer in today. So got one
Yeah.
under contract today. Whoop,
Whoop whoop. It's always
whoop.
a good day when you got
Always
those
exciting.
contracts coming.
That one was an interesting one because we had an offer from the same people who we went under contract with today about 2 months ago,
Oh
and
wow.
we walked away because the numbers weren't good, but they apparently spent the last 2 months saving up and got enough money together and came back with an offer.
Oh, well, that's
And
awesome. It was meant to be. So this one
it
we'll get
was
to the
meant to be.
closing
That one was
table.
interesting too because they grew up in the house and
Oh
in that
wow.
neighborhood, and they had family in there.
Uh-huh.
And so I really wanted to sell them the house the first time around,
Right, just
but
because.
I dipped my price down about 20,000 under where I really wanted to be to try to make the
What?
deal work.
Oh, that was
And
nice.
then we got it. They agreed to the number,
Uh-huh.
and then they said, "Oh wait, no, we need 8,000 in closing costs too."
Oh
And
no, that
that
was
was just
actually too
I
much.
just
That's
couldn't do it.
28,000.
So they
That
managed to come back with a new offer and the same price that we had agreed to before, but without the
closing
closing
costs.
costs. So
Oh, well, that's good.
we were able to get the deal.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cool.
Look.
It's always excited to get one under contract. So let me ask you one more question, and we can kind of wind down a little bit. Um, Zillow or Realtor.com. Do you do any third party type lead acquisitions?
Absolutely not.
Amen to that.
Look.
Amen to that.
But I do tell everybody because believe it or not, everybody is always looking on Zillow or Realtor.com. So I tell all of my agents like, hey, once you get a house,
Mm-hmm.
once you close, have your client go out and write you a
A review.
review on Zillow or Realtor.com because I have received referrals from them, but it's not that they're actually calling. It's basically like another agent or a
Gotcha.
buyer from someone else. They look online and they say, hey, I saw you on Realtor.com, saw you on Zillow, saw your reviews. I want to work with you. So that type of thing. But I'm not going to pay for those leads because to me, they're not really good leads. I've heard so many horror stories
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like to waste my money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of those leads.
Yeah, that's good. I have some agents that I've worked with in the past who are completely dependent on third party leads. And I always get nervous for somebody like that simply because if you're dependent on a third party site for leads, what happens when the third party site, aka Zillow, starts buying houses and now
Right.
they turn into your competitor?
So
I
they're
know
going to
they're still
send them
trying
to
to work
them.
both sides of the fence, but what happens when they jump
Hmm.
to the other side of the fence and they stop selling leads to the
Yeah.
agents, or the lead quality drops because they're cherry picking leads or doing
Hmm.
whatever? And I know a year ago there was a blip when they announced that they were going to start buying
Hmm.
houses. The effectiveness of some of those leads that were coming through Zillow kind of got diluted a little bit and went
Hmm.
down. So,
Yeah, that's
but
what
their
I've
prices
heard a
never
lot
go
of people.
down. They're definitely
Exactly.
that's an expensive lead. So, as an agency, I can't even buy Zillow leads because
Hmm.
I still got to work with my agent, and it just doesn't economically make sense at the agency level for me to
Hmm.
buy leads. I would have to just support whatever agent in my firm who
Right.
wanted to do that and say, okay, you want to do it, it's your dime,
Hmm.
we'll support that. But um, Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for us at the agency level to do that either.
Yeah, it's too costly.
Yeah, it's
And
very
then
expensive.
you have so many people because they do them kind of like on zip codes. When I looked into it at one time before, it was something like, if you want this zip code costs more, this zip code. And I was like, well, how many people are buying this zip code? And
Hmm.
then I have to keep clicking all the time. So I'm like, nah, it's not for me.
So transactional wise, like where are you at transactional wise? Like say average throughout the year per month.
Oh, it's picked up a whole lot recently. Now, me trans
You
for
can talk
me
about the firm
myself
at the
or for the
firm
firm.
level. Yeah.
Okay, at the firm, on average now, because it had now this just started happening,
Hmm.
because at first when I first started it wasn't this
Sure,
good.
it takes time to build up
Yeah,
a little
but
bit.
now I can say on average we're doing at least like 7 maybe a month.
That's great. So about one for
So
each agent almost, right?
yeah, about one agent. And some agents, well, some agents have they will skip a few months and
Hmm.
not have any because they're part
Right.
time. But then for the most part, like this month, we're gonna have I think like 10 closed this
Wow,
month.
that's great.
But it's because a few of us had like new construction deals that were already lined up,
Hmm.
and so I would have 4 this month to close, and then the other girl she has 1 closing, and then we have 2 listings. So it's like it kind of I would say on average, some months you might get 10, some months you get 7, but we try not to ever go below that.
Gotcha. What would your goal be if you were running a full force? Like how many would you like to be doing?
At least like my goal is to have 100 houses closed a year. So
Hmm.
my goal would be what's that, 10?
Yeah, roughly
10 to
$8 to $10 a month.
12
Yeah.
a month, because that's the goal. But some months you don't get that. So but the goal is to get that eventually,
I think
because
you
I
could do
feel
it.
like now that the numbers are picking up so much more, I feel
Right.
like we can get it. Now in the beginning of the year we didn't have that, but if
Yeah.
we were doing what we're doing now in this last fourth quarter, what we're doing in the beginning of the month, we could definitely have that 100. We're not going to have that 100 closed this year, but next year for sure we will have it, because now we have a
Cool.
few systems in place and everybody is learning what to do. You got to In order to get those deals, you got to put out the work. And at first, when COVID and all that stuff happened,
Hmm.
no one was really doing anything. You're not moving and shaking. Everyone's
Yeah, yeah.
afraid. So, but now that everybody's picking up the pace, I feel like we can get those 100 closed deals a year.
I have no doubts that you will be able to accomplish that.
Yes.
Shouldn't take much
Look.
longer for you. You're putting that hustle in. So that's it for today's show. I want to thank Addie Price from Price Residential Group for coming and joining us today. She did an amazing job. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for
I
being our
wasn't
first
ready,
guest.
but this is for
Yeah,
David. I
yeah.
love
All
David.
right.
He's always helping me out. And,
I
I call him
appreciate
like, hey, I
it.
need such and such done. I need this. I need that. And you always come around. So when you call me, I say, oh, I got to go. It's for David. He always looks out for me. I got to look out for him.
That's right. Well, I appreciate it. And we look forward to working together in the future. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.